Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Keep It Real MMA. Coming back at you with another video. Obviously, this is the UFC 282 pay-per-view card, BŁACHOWICZ versus ANKALAEV. Obviously, it was supposed to be Yuri Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira, but of course, that's not the case. So yeah, Yuri, if you guys don't know, Yuri pulled out due to injury, and he vacated the belt, so it's going to be BŁACHOWICZ and ANKALAEV for the belt. And yeah, and Glover turned down ANKALAEV, and yeah. So yeah, anyway, if you're new here, please like and subscribe. I'm Keep It Real MMA. You'll see very shortly why I call myself that, especially if you're new. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. And yeah, so I'm going to go all the way from the early prelims all the way up to the main event. And yeah, I'll give them my predictions, and I will break down as best as I can for these fights. And yeah, and I will tell you the odds also. So let's start with the first fight of the card, Cameron Saaiman versus Stephen Kozlov. I am going to go with Cameron Saaiman. I think that they're both very good prospects. They're both 6-0. I just think that it's not the best situation for Stephen Kozlov because he is coming in on very short notice, and Cameron Saaiman has had a very long training camp, and obviously Kozlov has come in on short notice. I think that Cameron Saaiman's going to gas him out as the fight goes on. They both got great cardio, but when it comes on super short notice, you've got to go with the other prospect that, you know, that has had the time to prepare, more time to prepare. So I'm going to go with Cameron Saaiman by third round TKO. I don't think it's going to be a brutal TKO or anything like that. I just think it'll be a third round TKO where eventually you'll get him down, you know, with a simple shot, drop him down and get him down and just finish him off with strikes towards the end. So yeah, I got Cameron Saaiman by third round TKO. Next fight on the card, Vinicius Salvador versus Daniel Da Silva. I'm going to go with Vinicius Salvador by decision, 29-28. Daniel Da Silva, the problem with Daniel Da Silva is that Daniel Da Silva is one of the stupidest cunts I've ever seen in my life. So he's young in the game. You know, for flyweight, I think I don't know how old he is, but he's in his 20s. Yeah, he's 26. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean, he's just stupid. And the thing is, like obviously he had the loss to Jeff Molina, the round 2 counter right to ground strikes. Then he lost to Francisco Figueiredo, which isn't good. He got caught in a knee bar in the first round, got caught pretty badly. And then he lost to Victor Altamirano by ground and pound, and he had a scrap with him too. Like, you don't have a scrap with Victor Altamirano, man. And the thing is like, he's lost 3 in a row, all 3 by finish, and he just has too many ways that he gets finished by, and he just doesn't have the IQ to be able to understand what's going on and what to do. And for that reason, I am going to go with Vinicius Salvador, and I think he's going to take the 29-28, where maybe he finishes him in a couple of instances almost. So I just don't think Daniel Da Silva has enough IQ to beat him. I seriously don't think he does. So I am going to go with Vinicius Salvador by 29-28 decision. Next fight on the card, TJ Brown versus Eric Silva. I'm going to go with Eric Silva. And the reason I'm going to go with Eric Silva is because I think TJ Brown is a bottom feeder. And I think Eric Silva is above that level. Now, do I think that Eric Silva is going to be in the rankings? No, I don't think he'll ever be in the rankings. But I think that he's very good compared to TJ Brown. And I think he's just going to beat the fuck out of TJ Brown and TKO him in the third. Like I said, TJ Brown is a bottom feeder. He is a bottom feeder. He hasn't got the best of records. I think he's 20... I don't know. He hasn't got the best of records. Obviously, he's barely beaten guys like Charles Rosa. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's 16-9. Lost to Shailin Nurdenbeke by unanimous decision. Beat Kai Kamaka, Charles Rosa, not the greatest of wins. Lost to Danny Chavez, Jordan Griffin. Lost to Cody Carrillo on Border Wars. He just doesn't have the best of record against higher level opponents. He's basically just a can crusher, but he is a can also, and he's just a slightly better can than most cans, if you get what I mean. So I'm going to go with Eric Silva by third round TKO. I just think that he outmatches him in most instances, and yeah, I got him winning by third round TKO. Also winning the first 2 rounds, in my opinion. Next fight on the card, which is the final fight of the early prelims. Billy Quarantillo versus Alexander Hernandez. All those fights didn't have odds. This fight has odds. So Billy Billy Quarantillo's a -165 favourite. Alexander Hernandez is a +140 underdog. I am going to go with Billy Quarantillo. Hernandez has just let me down too many times. That's the problem. Like, he was such a massive prospect coming into the UFC, man. Obviously, he had that huge knockout over Beneil Dariush. And ever since, he's just struggled. Ever since that Donald Cerrone fight where he got beat the fuck out of and he got humbled, he just hasn't been the same. And yeah, he's won fights here and there, but he just loses fights he should be winning. The only fight I can say where he lost fair and square, where he wasn't guaranteed to supposed to win, was against Big Money Moicano. But Billy Quarantillo is that type of guy where he is going to give you adversity. Like, I mean, he gives Shane Burgos a bit of adversity. He gives everybody a bit of adversity. And it just seems to me that Hernandez just crumbles. As soon as he gets pressured, as soon as he feels that little bit of heat, he crumbles. If it's not going his way, he crumbles. And he doesn't have the best of chins. You know, I'm not saying his chin is terrible, but he's going down a weight class where people are going to be faster. Don't get me wrong, Alexander Hernandez... Oh, fucking my eye keeps twitching. Alexander Hernandez is very fast, he's very explosive. But don't forget, right, Quarantillo had a... I believe it was against Spike Carlisle. I think it was Spike Carlisle. Yeah, against Spike Carlisle, that was a hell of a scrap. Just wanted to check it was him. Yeah, hell of a scrap. And I know he's coming off of a loss to Shane Burgos, but bro, he's really good. And obviously, I know he lost to Gavin Tucker, but it was a scrap. He gives everybody adversity. And Alexander Hernandez, who doesn't have the best of chins, and who is very inconsistent. He has all the talent in the world, but he's so inconsistent, hasn't been the same mentally. Coming down a weight class against faster guys, because he's used to being the faster guy. You know, he's coming down against a faster guy who packs a punch, not the best of chin he haven't got, and you know, he's not looking too good recently. So for that reason, I'm going to have to go with Billy Quarantillo. I'm going to go with a 30-27. I actually don't see him finishing Hernandez, but I see him dropping him a couple of times, like just getting a dominant 30-27. Alexander Hernandez maybe even gassing out a bit, maybe. But yeah, I got Billy Quarantillo. Now on to the prelims. First fight of the prelims, Chris Curtis versus Joaquin Buckley. Chris Curtis is a +140 underdog. Joaquin Buckley is a -165 favourite. This is tough. This is a tough fight to call. I'm going to go with Joaquin Buckley. It's tough. This is one of the hardest ones to pick. I'm going to go with Joaquin Buckley. Right. Joaquin Buckley is one of those guys where he's shown that he can push the 3 rounds. Chris Curtis also can, because don't forget, he's basically a welterweight. But the problem is Buckley is one of those guys where he can switch stances, but he can also come in. He's kind of like the Mike Tyson of MMA, because he dips like Mike Tyson. He comes low like that, and he throws a lot of body shots upstairs. You know what I mean? His stance is very similar to like a Mike Tyson once was. And the thing is, he throws a lot of good kicks, and he likes to mix it up. And the problem with Chris Curtis is, you know, he's not facing a guy that's trying to just poke him from the outside and then try to take him down. He's got a guy that's in between. A guy that's, I think he's shorter than him. A guy that's going to be throwing bombs, absolute bombs. And the thing is like, Chris Curtis is good, man. He is good. But the thing is, right, he's getting poked from range by Jack Hermansson, right? And I know Joaquin Buckley isn't going to do that, but it just seems to be every fight I've watched of Chris Curtis, he struggles against people who imply their own pressure on him. So what I'm trying to say is, when people apply their own game plan and just press forward against him and be smart with the way they're picking their shots and just press forward against him and apply their pressure and don't let Chris Curtis get any of his stuff off. Chris Curtis struggles, man. Because don't forget, yeah, he KO'd Phil Hawes, but Phil Hawes was fucking him up. People tend to forget what was happening in that fight. Phil Hawes was fucking him up that entire round. And the reason he was fucking him up was because he wasn't poking at him from the outside like Jack Hermansson was. What he was doing was, he was pressing in against him, throwing teep kicks, coming inside, picking his shots well, covering up well, doing what he needed to do, not allowing Chris Curtis to decide what he wanted to do. Chris Curtis couldn't even think. Chris Curtis was just defending, and I know he had the octagon jitters because it was his debut, but he was like, you know, trying to protect himself, and he was like coming through, and he didn't know what to throw because Phil Horst was applying it. The only time Chris Curtis does well against people who are trying to force their game plan are when they're trying to take him down, because he has great takedown defense. But Joaquin Buckley is not going to be trying to take him down. Joaquin Buckley is going to press forward and going to pick his shots and try to apply it onto him, and I think that's why he's going to win by decision. I think he's going to win 29-28, maybe lose the third round. First 2 rounds, though, I think he'll bag. So, yeah, I got Joaquin Buckley by 29-28 decision. I think he got this. It's a tough fight to call, though. But I'm going to go with Joaquin Buckley. Next fight on the card, Edmund Shabazian versus Dalcha Lugambula. I'm going to go with Edmund. Well, Edmund Shabazian's a minus 295 favourite. Dalcha Lugambula is a plus 245 underdog. I'm going to go with Edmund Shabazian. He's got to win the fight. Let's be real. He has to win this fight. And the thing is, I don't think he's going to be feeling that much pressure because people kind of forgot about him as a prospect. People found out pretty quickly the middleweights are trash. I am going to go with Edmund Shabazian. I think that he is the better fighter. And I think that, you know, because he hasn't got a guy that's consistently going to try and take him down and will stand with him, I think Edmund Shabazian is going to fuck him up. And people forget, man. They have the recency bias, bro. The people, I know he lost to Jack Manson and all that, but he lost to Imavov, who beat Buckley. You know what I mean? He's lost to great guys. Well, Derek Brunson. Blonde Brunson is a different type of Brunson, you know what I'm saying? But the problem is, right, people forget what Edmund Shabazian did to Brad Tavares. You can't forget what he did to Brad Tavares. And anybody that can do that to Brad Tavares can definitely do that to Dalcha Lugambula. Don't forget, Dalcha actually lost to ANKALAEV, who's in the main event, and Edmund Shabazian's been training with ANKALAEV, so he's got that type of style. I just think that Edmund Shabazian's going to fuck him up and TKO him in the first round. I just don't see... No, I'd say second round. I think he'll have to try and survive the first, maybe, because he'll get pressed a bit. But I think the second round, he'll TKO Dalcha. I just think Dalcha's coming off a broken rib. His confidence isn't going to be the greatest. I mean, he waits too much. He doesn't land enough. And I think Shabazian just... So even if Shabazian doesn't get the TKO in the second round, I think he'll win by decision. So yeah, Edmund Shabazian, second round TKO. Next fight on the card, Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Chris Daukaus. Jairzinho Rozenstruik is a minus 170 favourite. Chris Daukaus is a plus 145 underdog. I am going with Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Yeah, I'm going to go with Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I think he is going to piece up Chris Daukaus and KO him at the end of the first round. I just don't think that Chris Daukaus is that good. Like, people forget in the Shamil fight that, yeah, he KO'd Shamil, but, like, people forget how much he was getting hit in that fight. He was getting hit so many times. He struggles with range, and when you got a kickboxer as good as Jairzinho, he's going to struggle even more. And the thing is, like, they're both tubby, but Jairzinho got muscle, a lot of muscle. Chris Daukaus is just flabby as fuck. I just don't see Chris Daukaus doing much here. I just see Jairzinho, like, just being patient, throwing leg kicks, throwing jabs out there with a longer reach, and just being able to just keep him at range and find his range, not allowing Chris Daukaus to find his. And I think that Chris Daukaus is going to come in like he did against Blades and get caught with a right hand straight on the chin and put Chris Daukaus down. Like, the thing is, right, anytime he's come up against somebody with any type of power, he gets KO'd. Derek Lewis KO'd him, Curtis Blades KO'd him, and yeah, and obviously Shamil couldn't KO him. Shamil couldn't KO my dog. So, you know, it's just one of those things. So, yeah, I got Jairzinho Rozenstruik by first round KO right at the end of the round. Next fight on the card, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Jay Perrin. There's no odds on here for some reason, but I am going to go with Raul Rosas Jr. I think that obviously he's 18 years of age. I think he only just turned 18. Jay Perrin's a pretty good fighter, man, but he's 10-6. He struggles against higher level competition, and he doesn't do the best against grapplers most of the time. He has decent grappling, but he doesn't have the best grappling in the world. Like, obviously, I know he's not losing to, like, absolute bums. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not it's like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not losing to bums by any means. Like, obviously, he's losing to really good fighters, man. Like, obviously, like, he lost to Dwight Joseph on the Contender Series, but then he beat Diego Silva in Cage Titans. He then beat Josh Smith in CES, and then he lost to Mario Batista, and then lost to Aoreli Chaleng, and these are by decision. And the thing is, right, when you get a guy that can grapple a bit with him, but also strike. Because the thing is, right, Jay Perrin is like, he has good takedown defense, but when he hits the ground, he's not the best. I think Raul Rosas Jr. is going to get a second round submission, rear naked choke maybe. Because Jay Perrin does well against strikers, and the thing is, he's even losing to the strikers. And I know, like I said, it's Mario Batista who's really good, and Aoreli Chaleng is good. But I think Raul Rosas Jr. is pretty good, and I think he's going to be able to get his back and get the submission. I don't know where Raul Rosas Jr. goes from here, though. Because I seriously don't understand where he can go from here, because it's one of those things where, like, the bantamweight division is the most skilled division in the UFC. It's the hardest division skill-wise. That's my dog breathing. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Raul Rosas Jr. second round submission. Oh, fuck's sake, guys. Next, right, now we're on to the main card. Next fight on the card, Bryce Mitchell versus Ilia Topuria. Bryce Mitchell is a plus 115 underdog. Ilia Topuria is a minus 135 favorite. Now, I see everybody picking Ilia Topuria. I think he is a little overrated, in my opinion. Here's the problem. Now, obviously, he's a short guy. He's 5'7". He's got a 1-inch reach disadvantage, 3-inch leg reach disadvantage. Now, here's the problem. You've got somebody like Bryce Mitchell who has the ability to drop people, and he's great on the ground. But can he get Ilia Topuria to the ground? That's the problem. Right. I'm going to go with Bryce Mitchell. It's a risk, but I'm going to go with Bryce Mitchell. I think Ilia Topuria has great boxing, but he hasn't shown enough ability to be able to keep that pace for 3 rounds straight. But not just keep the pace, but how does he do against somebody who's not just rolling around, rolling over, just trying to get leg locks, a guy that's proper trying to shoot blast double legs against him, a guy that's going to push him up against the cage, trying to clinch with him. And the thing is, Ilia Topuria has great body shots, man, and Bryce Mitchell isn't the most athletic, explosive guy. But I think Bryce Mitchell's going to lose the first round pretty badly, almost a 10-8, but not quite. You know, just get 10-9, and then make the second round very close, but maybe Ilia Topuria gets it. But then he's gassing Ilia to the point where in the third round, he gets him down and Das chokes him. I seriously think that can happen, because he has power, man. I know he's against somebody like Barbosa, but he has power. And I know Ilia Topuria is going to be the one going forward, not the one backing up. But I think Bryce Mitchell's going to be able to push a pace that he might finish him in the third. So I'm going to go with Bryce Mitchell. I'm going to trust in the experience of Bryce Mitchell and the ability of Bryce Mitchell. And yeah, I'm going to trust him to get it done by third round Das. If not, I think Topuria will get it done 29-28. But I think Bryce Mitchell will get it done by second round Das stroke. I'd say in the third round Das stroke. I think he can get it done. I seriously think he can. Next fight on the card. Darren Till versus Dricus du Plessis. Darren Till's a plus 155 underdog. Dricus du Plessis is a minus 180 favorite. Now, right. Right, here's the problem. Right? Here's the problem. Now, in my initial assessment a couple of months ago, it was quite a few months ago, people are still commenting on this video, by the way. I was thinking a Darren Till pick. Because, let's be real, on the feet, Dricus du Plessis is levels below. But here's the problem, right? Dricus du Plessis is probably on something, okay? But he has the heart of a warrior. And his cardio is insane, right? You know, he obviously showed that in the Brad Tavares fight. If adversity comes either one's way, I don't trust Darren Till to come out on top that way. So for that reason, I am going to pick Dricus du Plessis. And I'm going to pick Dricus du Plessis. I've switched my pick. I'm going to pick Dricus du Plessis by third round TKO. And Dricus du Plessis, don't get me wrong, he's a dog shit striker compared to Darren Till. Dog. Absolute dog. Like, he's not the worst striker in the world, but he is dog compared to Darren Till. Dog. in terms of stand-up, but his ground game is levels above Darren Till's. And his submission ability is a lot more prevalent than you think, is a lot better than you think too. I am going to go with Dricus du Plessis. I think he's going to push through the first round. I think Darren Till will win the first round, and I think that Dricus du Plessis will win the second and then eventually TKO him in the third. I don't see Darren Till doing much here in the second and third. If it goes past the first round, I don't think Darren Till can win, and I think it will go past the first round. Dricus du Plessis is going to push such a great pace that I just think that Darren Till won't be able to keep up. And I've seen photos of Darren Till with his top off in training, and he just looks out of shape. It just seems like he's lost a shit ton of testosterone. He just doesn't look the same. He just looks flabby. Like, he looks in shape, but it's not shape. You know what I mean? Look at him compared to welterweight, where he had to cut a shit ton of pounds to get down there. So he should be bigger and more muscle-wise going up a division. No. He just looks flabby and fat compared to most in-shape fighters. So I'm going to go with Dricus du Plessis, third round TKO. Ah, man. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm going to go with Dricus du Plessis. I've switched my pick. It's Dricus du Plessis. Next fight on the card. The fuck? Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Alex Morono. It was supposed to be Robbie Lawler, but yeah. By the way, guys, I knew Robbie Lawler pulled out, but I didn't know they had Alex Morono replacing him. Santiago Ponzinibbio, listen to this. Santiago Ponzinibbio is a plus 310 underdog. Alex Morono is a minus 380 favorite. For that reason, I'm going with Santiago Ponzinibbio. He's the taller guy with inch taller, inch reach advantage, inch and a half leg reach. So, you know, it's not much, but Santiago Ponzinibbio, he's had a full camp ready for this, more than a full camp. Alex Morono stepping up on very, very short notice. I think Santiago Ponzinibbio is going to get it done by second round TKO. Alex Morono's good, though, don't get me wrong. He's a really good fighter. I just don't see what he can do in this situation. How is he a minus 380 favorite? What the fuck? 380? Fuck. Because of those odds, man, it's kind of convincing. I gotta go with Santiago, man. The odds are too good. And the thing is, I feel like he can win this fight by KO. I really do. And if not, I think he can even edge out a win. You know what I mean? He's pushed the type of pace that you can, you know what I mean, that you've seen. You know what I mean? Pushing the pace against Mikel Bieza, you know what I mean, and landing great shots there. I just think that against Morono, I just think he's going to be able to put his game plan of just popping jabs and just getting in his face and keep throwing. I think Santiago Ponzinibbio can really win this, and I think he's got this in the bag. So yeah, I got Santiago Ponzinibbio by second round KO. I think he'll catch him on the chin coming in. I really think he will. Next fight on the card. Unfortunately, I don't know why this is the co-main event, but yeah, whatever. Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon. Paddy Pimblett's a minus 245 favourite. Jared Gordon's a plus 205 underdog. I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett by second round rear naked choke. Here's the problem. Jared Gordon is a level above a can, but that's it. He has no finishes in the UFC. He's not a finisher. He's a very safe fighter. But the problem is, anytime he fights somebody who's somewhat decent, he kind of crumbles, especially against grapplers with great submission threats. And that's what I'm going to bank on here with Paddy Pimblett. I just think that Paddy Pimblett's grappling is going to be a bit too much for Jared Gordon. I think that the striking is a lot more even than you think. And I just think that Paddy Pimblett is the better fighter all around. And I think that Jared Gordon's going to be very defensive in this fight, because Paddy's going to be very prevalent in his face, trying to land shots. And I think Paddy Pimblett will get caught with a couple of good, clean shots. But I just don't think Jared Gordon has the finishing ability to be able to do anything about it. And I think that Paddy Pimblett will eventually trip him down in the second round, eventually get his back and choke him out. So I got Paddy Pimblett by second round rear naked choke, in my opinion. I think it's a pretty straightforward pick. But the problem is now, where does Paddy Pimblett go from here? I don't see him going anywhere after this. That's the big problem with him. I just really don't see what he can do in terms of, like, you know, like, does he fight an unranked guy just outside the rankings, or does he fight somebody who's, you know, in the rankings, because I just don't see him. I don't see him beating anybody in the rankings. But that's a topic for another video. Maybe I'll make a video breaking down this fight in more detail, and we'll see where Paddy can go from here, because I think he'll win this. So yeah, next fight on the card. This is the main event. Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. Jan Blachowicz is a plus 235 underdog. Magomed Ankalaev is a minus 280 favorite. I am gonna go with Magomed Ankalaev. I like Jan Blachowicz, you know, legendary Polish power. I do like Jan Blachowicz. But he's too striking heavy, and his grappling has been exposed by a lot of fighters, and especially Glover, and it got exposed a little bit by Rakic. I just think that Ankalaev is going to do pretty well on the feet too, because of the takedown threat also. That's going to play like a big part into it. Obviously, Blachowicz has a 3-inch reach advantage, but the problem is Magomed Ankalaev has a 2-inch leg reach advantage. He is the taller guy by, was it an inch or two, something like that? An inch. He's the taller guy with a slightly longer leg reach, right? So he's going to be able to get his kicks off, his teep kicks, get off his body shots. But I don't see Magomed winning on the feet. I see him winning by... I think this is going to be a boring fight. I don't see him finishing Jan on the ground, surprisingly. I just see him riding out the decision. Like, in a way of, like... It's a bit scrappy on the feet maybe here and there, but they're keeping it technical. Jan's slightly winning on the feet. Magomed finds a way to get him down and then lies on top of him. Get a couple of, shots, just passing the guard and just being very safe. And I just see, like, him doing that all the way through, and the takedowns just getting easier and easier and easier to get as the rounds go by, because Jan getting tired off of it, trying to defend him. And I just see that Ankalaev's just going to get it down to the fifth, past the 5th round and get the dub that way. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, if you're new here, like I said, please like and subscribe. I love you all so much. I really appreciate the love lately. And yeah, let's just keep running up the videos, keep subscribing. And yeah, this is Keep It Real MMA. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.